welcome along. Anyone on YouTube, if you're watching later in the day, just skip ahead about 2 minutes and we will be into our workout. So I'm just going to go live on Facebook now. We'll have our two things set up. And this is a COPD workout. And as I say, I'm just going to set up my Facebook stream now. As I always say, YouTube a little bit unreliable at times, so if it is possible at all, I would always recommend Facebook if you have it. You'll just get a more reliable stream there. So, with fingers crossed, our YouTube will have no issues today. So, as I say, just going to go live onto Facebook now. So that is with chain. And we will start Facebook stream now. Right. So I'll just let everyone tune in. So welcome along. If you're just tuning in, as I always say, if you're tuning in a bit later in the day, and I know we do have people from the US, UK, different parts of the world, maybe just skip ahead 1 or 2 minutes and you should be live into the main block of work. I'm just allowing everyone the chance just to tune in there and get set up. All we want, just as ever, have a good sturdy chair. If you have 2 weights at the ready, if you don't have weights, use 2 tins, 2 bottles of water, anything at all. And just because it is quite, well, where I am anyway, it's quite warm, would always recommend having a bottle of water at the ready as well. So I'm just setting up my timer here. I'm going to do some aerobic work and some strength work, a main strength circuit. So that will be us. So Denise, brilliant. Great to have you along. Denise Tevin. It's Wicklow COPD. And Sylvia, morning. And morning. Right, so my name is Shane. I'm I work deliver classes South Dublin. In terms of COPD, I would teach a group in Ballyfermot. I would have taught the group out in Bray as well, and some of the guys in Wicklow town might be familiar with me as well. And I'm trying to think of the other place, Ballally, I've been out there as well. So those groups might have seen me before. I'm sure Ballyfermot have anyway. So this class is COPD. So as ever, everyone is very welcome along to this class and to join in. Just bear in mind some of the considerations and how hard I push is with a mind to COPD and lung conditions. Typically, from my experience with those groups, participants are very familiar. They have a good handle on how hard they can push. So do bear that in mind in terms of how hard you push. It's a little bit sunny, so I don't think there's any point in me showing the scale. It'll just look a bit fuzzy. But what I would say, think of scale of 0 to 10. We want you to work at a level of 3 or 4 out of 10. So particularly those with COPD, remember pushing at a level of 3 or 4. You should still be able to get words out, but you mightn't be able to sing, for example. So that's probably enough talk for me. Let's get started with a warm-up. I'll lead this in a seated position, but the rest of the class I will lead in standing. So let's go very simple first. Just to roll the shoulders back. Always a nice place to start. Just get a little bit of movement from the shoulders. And as ever, all the comments very much appreciated. I will check in with everyone after the session, but just lifting up and rolling back. Okay, so we just want to warm ourselves up, loosen everything out, just bringing the heart rate up slowly, preparing ourselves for the main block of work ahead. Changing direction now, just bringing those shoulders forward in circles. Again, it's just to think of separating the shoulders from the rest of your body. And I should say, I'm nice and tall in my chair. Just think, expand those ribs and open up your chest. Next, bring arms across chest. Pull back nice and wide and then back in. By all means, if you want to start standing, that's okay. But I just want to lead a nice universal warm-up that we can all do. So I'm leading this in a seated position, this first part of the warm-up. So just opening the arms out, nice wide stretch. Think open or expanding out your chest, connecting with shoulders, and a little squeeze of the shoulder blades. Okay, so next, what I want to do is just fold the arms and rotate my body to the right and left, just getting a little bit of rotation. Think before we go into weighted movements, we just want to make sure all parts of our body are feeling good. I always say the warm-up is the time to find if it was something tight, stiff, maybe not feeling great. So this would be the time to discover any kind of issues before we push hard with our weight. And continuing on. Next, I'll just gently bring elbows down towards the knees. I'm not worried about physical touch. I just think elbows roughly towards the knees and then straight back up. Okay. And we just like to keep the warm-up kind of flowing, moving. We're never really stopping. We're just building ourselves up here. Okay, now for my next one, open out those feet nice and wide. And what I want to do is just reach down with my right hand, pull the elbow back, and then doing the same with the left. So just reach down, pull back. Think of this like a lawnmower. If anyone has a nice old-fashioned lawnmower like I do, where you have to pull the cord. That's what I want you to think. Pull the cord, push the elbow back. So a very nice dynamic movement, connecting with the back of my shoulder and just getting my body moving here. Working within a range that's comfortable. This isn't about touching the floor, anything like that. I just want you to go in a range that's feeling good to you. And up. Perfect. Next, bringing the feet in, just getting into a nice light march. I would say just with a march, not to stamp the feet down, just keep it nice and light here, getting my body moving. And I'm nice and tall. I'm just never rounding forward. I'm not tight in this position. My chest is out proud. And I'm in a nice, strong position here. Next, extend the legs out. Right, left, just alternate between the two. Extending the legs out. Just going to switch on the hips next. Lift to the left and right leg out. One at a time, just opening out to the sides. And that's just going to open out those hips. We just move in. And last couple of movements here. I'm going to go back to a march, nice and light, just keeping it moving. Nice and light. And then again, I'm just going to alternate, extending the legs out, right, left, right, left. And then once more, just opening the legs out to the side. So from my hips, just opening the legs out. If you just continue on with that, I'm just going to jump in, check out with the comments that everything's okay there. Just continuing on. Morning. Like in Legally Blonde, I don't know, I must watch it. Okay, so just to finish off, I want to get the ankles moving. Hold on to the knee if you like, and bring that right foot slowly around in circles. And again, the challenge is to keep this slow and steady and not to rush this movement. And then I just want to change direction. We are going to do a little bit of movement of the calf and the front as well. So ankle movements in today's session. So let's just warm it up and then change. Left foot up, holding on to that knee, if you like. Slowly around in circles. Nice and slow around in circles. And then again, just to change direction. Might be a couple of clicks and cracks, but I keep this as slow and controlled as I can. And back down. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take up my standing position now. You'll notice I will keep my chair to my side. We want to use our chair for a couple of these movements. This is a little aerobic block. In the COPD class, I always like to get people up out of the chair and moving, walking, something along those lines. So just given the fact we're at home and space, what I'm going to do is movements on the spot with a little bit of strength work kind of infused in. So have your chair alongside you And if you want to mimic and do all these movements in a seated position, you can do so. So I'm going to put my clock on, and what I want you to do is just start off marching. So very simple. I just want you to start off marching with the arms, and I'm going to put my clock and timer on now. So let's go. Again, I'm in a nice tall upright position, chest is open, marching with the arms. So what we will do is we'll march in little blocks of 30 seconds, and we're going to do some heel raises and toe raises in between. So the idea is we'll keep ourselves moving and just equivalent to a brisk walk, like you're out walking, building up a little bit of resistance, endurance in the lungs. Right, so next, holding on to the back of your chair, nice and tall, lifting the heels up. So I keep my body nice and straight, and I lift up as high as I can onto the toes of my feet. I'll just bring it right in so you can see it there. I keep everything straight, and I'm just mindful that the hips don't rock forward and back. I want to keep this straight and put a little bit of tension and work onto the back of the lower legs here. So I'm keeping everything straight, lifting up and down. Okay, and we're just going to continue on. So you're working for about 50 seconds with 30 seconds march in between each. But it's all movement. You just keep your body moving. 3, 2, 1. And then I want you to turn around and bring it back to the march. So if you find that you're getting a little bit tough, maybe feeling a little bit breathless, what I want you to do is slow the march down. Because I feel comfortable everything so far, I'm going at a nice moderate pace, but I could slow it right down. I could even stop the arms if I wanted to just catch my breath. So it's really tapered to what works for you. Okay, so next movement. Turning to the chair again, body is straight. Now I lift the toes of my feet, so the opposite. Now it's the toes, so I feel a little pull on the front of my body, on the tibia or on the shins here. Again, what can happen here is that the hips start to take over, so just make sure that there's not too much movement here, that it's my toes that are pulling up. It might be a very small little movement, but that's okay. I just want you to focus really hard on getting that lift of the toes. So straight up, pointing toes up to the ceiling. Again, remember on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm working out 3 to 4 out of 10. So I feel myself a good moderate challenge, but not so much that I'm breathless or in any pain, discomforts. Turn around, back to march. Okay, so there are your two kind of strength movements infused with this marching gear. Remember, if you find the movements tough, slow the pace down. This march can be used as rest and recovery. I'm comfortable so far, so I'm going at a nice moderate pace with my march. But if I start to find it tough, I will slow the pace of my march right down if I need. So turning to the chair again, holding on, you're nice and straight, lifting the heels up. So there you're again, heel raises. So I'm thinking back of my lower legs, those calves. Keep the body straight, and I lift my heels right up off the floor. And again, those hips stay roughly in a nice straight position with everything. I'm going as high up as I can onto the toes of my feet. The idea is we're always moving, we're active in this block of work. And we keep going about 10 more seconds for this movement, and then we'll return back to our march. Doing really good work so far. Another couple of seconds. 2, 1. Turn around and back to march. So again, I will keep repeating it, but if at this point you're starting to feel the pace a little bit, slow it down. Use your march as rest recovery if needed. So you could slow it right down like this. Air in, air out. Okay. If it's all comfortable, just continue at a nice moderate pace with your march, moving the arms as well. And we're going to turn around, back to the chair, and into my toe raises. My body is straight, lifting the toes up. Okay, so toes lifting up. Keep everything nice and straight. Again, naturally, You might feel the hips want to pull back a bit here, but keep the work down there at my feet, lifting the toes up. And again, just remember breathing all the time, never holding our breath. In through the nose, out the mouth. And just going to continue on. Just over 10 seconds left with this movement. And then we're going to march again and finish out with these last two again. Really good stuff so far. Keep doing as much as you are comfortable with. 2, 1, turn around, back to march. If you're doing in a seated position, you're doing exactly the same movement. You're marching, lifting the heels, lifting the toes, exactly the same movements. Just going to go in, just checking in there. Perfect, okay. But again, the pace is really important, that you're going at one that's right for you. It's not about matching me exact. Everyone goes at a pace that is suitable to them. Working hard, but in your own comfort. Back to the chair. Body is tall, heels up. So again, maybe this third final round, I'm really starting to feel the back of the lower legs, my calves. Good strong legs. Working them hard today. So this is your last time with the heel raises today, and we'll have one little block of toe raises. We'll move into strength then. So we keep going, doing really good. Right up onto the toes, just keeping everything nice and strong here. Not letting my body sway forward and back. As high as I can onto my toes, riding my body up, back down, up, back down. 2, 2, 1, and down. Back to march. Again, if you're really feeling the pace, slow it down. Air in, back out, recover, even drop the movement of the arms. But if it feels okay, just continue on with the arms. Nice, moderate pace. Giving myself a good challenge within reason and within my own comfort here. I'm not in any pain, discomfort. I'm feeling a little bit of challenge here. Okay, final movement. Turning to the chair again. Body is tall. Lifting your toes up off the floor. So toes up. Again, just mindful now, this third round, what might happen is we start to get a little bit messy with the form. So let's just keep it tight, locked in. There might be a little bit of push back here. That's okay. But don't let your hips take over the movements. I should feel a little pull on the front of my legs along the tibia there. So I'm just pulling the toes up, back down. Even if it's only a very limited movement, that's okay. We just keep going as best we can here, lifting the toes up. Breathing all the time, never holding your breath. Last couple of seconds, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so that's your first block of work done. What I want you to do is just take a little breather here. Very simple. I'm just going to sit down briefly for this. So take a little breather here. For some of us, I always say, rest your hands on the back of the chair and take a little bit of pressure off the lungs here. So if that's comfortable, I know some people in the class like to kind of fully sit down. Honestly, whatever strategy works best for you. Take a drink of water, and we're just going to do a little bit of breathing, and then we're going to move into our main weighted circuit. So hands onto my belly. What I want to do is take a nice big deep breath in through my nose. I think expand, fill my belly with air, and then a nice slow exhale out the mouth. And I think emptying out from my belly. So I'm not staying tight in the chest. Think of filling a vase up with air, okay? So again, air in through nose. Expand, fill my belly. Nice slow exhale. If it helps, I can close my eyes. I might connect a little bit better with this one. Inhale through the nose. Nice slow exhale. Let's go one more time. In through the nose, expand, fill your belly with air. Nice slow exhale out the mouth. Okay. So again, just let me know if that's all okay, and if you don't mind just hitting the like there, just to let me know that it's all okay so far. What I want to do next is push into our strength work. So I'm just setting my clock for that, 60 seconds, and about 25 in between. Right, so we're going to do 3 rounds. I have a couple of movements here. Again, I want to do these movements standing or seated. I'm going to lead in a standing position. If any movement causes pain, discomfort, just immediately leave it out. Don't push yourself through any pain. We want muscular challenge and tension, yes, but not any pain, discomfort. So I would always say maybe turn a standing into a seated movement, for example, if it caused any pain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my timer on. I'm going to lead this one, standing leg extension. So we'll probably see a lot of squats and movements, and it's a brilliant movement. But if you're somebody who maybe has difficulty, this is a really good substitute and a really good way to work the leg. So what I want to do is left hand holding on to my chair. My body is tall. And what I'm going to do is lift my right knee up, extend the leg out, and then drop down. So again, knee up, extend the leg, and back down. I don't want to lift in such a way that I start to lose shape or start to do funny things here. Body stays tall, knee up, extend the leg out. And you'll see how it's a nice controlled movement. I'm not going too sharp with this one. Just a nice, smooth, straightening out extension of the leg. I even like to put my hand there sometimes, and you can actually feel the muscle in that thigh working here. So if you're somebody who maybe has difficulty with squat, sometimes the hips, knees feel a bit sore when you do it, this is a really good adaptation. Again, you can obviously do this one in a seated position in exactly the same format if you like, that's fine. As ever, I'm just leading in this standing position. So again, knee up, extend the leg out. And I think it's no harm to just reset the leg, lightly tap the toes down, and then go again and rest. No, I might just shake the legs out, and then I'm going to move on to the left side. And YouTube, Murray Clark, great to have you. So just take a little jig. We have time on the clock here to rest, recover, catch your breath in between. And we're going to set up. Right hand onto the chair. Body is nice and tall. Left knee up, straighten the leg out and back down. I try not to rest for too long on the ground. My toes just tap the floor, and then I'm straight back up into the movement. So we want to keep a little bit of tension on here. But I think no harm to just lightly bring the toes down. Just give the leg a little second to reset. Break it down. Knee up, extend. Knee up, extend. And again, I'm supported by my chair in this position. If you need, you can do this in a standing position, seated position, extending the leg. And we just work in the same way on that one side. Mindful of the hips, that you're not tilting excessively to one side. So try and stay as strong as you can. Lots of tension through that thigh here. Knee up, extend the leg. Let's get one more. And down. Excellent stuff. So, movement number 2. What I want us to do is grab hold of our 2 weights. And what I'm going to do today is a seated lateral raise. Sometimes I do this one standing, sometimes I do it seated. At the moment, I'm just enjoying doing this one in a seated position. What I want to do is hold the 2 weights by my side. I'm nice and tall in the chair. So this eliminates, sometimes in the standing position, we might subconsciously bend the back or arch a little bit, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm nice and tall, arms by my sides, raise out, back down. So this is really going to put all the work through my shoulders. If you find this movement difficult, maybe we want to drop to one arm at a time, or if this just isn't a movement, absolutely fine. You could adapt And change, perhaps you want to do an arm curl instead. If you're somebody who has shoulder issue, we could swap to an arm curl. If it feels okay, I keep my body straight, lift out, pause, slowly down. So I never swing those weights. I should have a little bit of control. And if I'm losing a little bit of control, I might drop it back to one arm at a time. We'll get one final repetition and back down. Now, back to standing, holding on to your two weights. Just going to pull this chair back a little bit. What I want you to do now is keep hold of the two weights. I'm going to hold them by my side, not resting in by my hip, but hold them maybe an inch or two out. And in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to go for a controlled march. So you'll see here, I'm not looking to go too fast. I'm just lifting the knees up at a good distance, but not so much that would feel unbalanced. If you feel in any way unbalanced, you can perform this movement in a seated position, or you could drop one weight and hold on to the side of the chair. What I'm trying to do, so if you are somebody who maybe on the last movement had difficulty with the shoulder, and there is people, sometimes a raise, press, it's an issue that a movement that causes irritation. This can be a great way just to load up, put a little bit of weight through the arm and shoulder, and we're into movements. So I like these holding, bearing weight. Think of doing things around the house, carrying things around the house, groceries, heavy box. These are things we want to be strong at, be able to maintain without becoming breathless. Building up endurance here. And rest. Brilliant work. Next movement, or a final one in the circuit. Again, this can be done seated if you prefer. I'll leave this one in standing. So set up, holding the two weights, palms of my hands face up to the ceiling. Merge the two weights together in front of my chest. You'll see I have that V shape. If I went like this, it's a bit narrow, restricted. Widen it out, V shape. Push from chest, slowly in. Push, slowly in. From the side, how that looks. Imagine a straight line out from your chest, and you want to stay in line with that chest as you press. Exhale, press away. Inhale on return. Another thing that I'd be very mindful of, just so you don't lurch those weights out. So we don't want a kind of jagged, harsh push out here. Think of very smooth, controlled press. So again, press slowly back in. My back stays strong, straight here. If you find a little bit funny here, I would sit down to the chair and just give myself a little bit of support. Final reps. And back down. Okay, so that's your first round of the circuit. Drink of water, catch your breath, whatever recovery strategy that you like, and just ask yourself, how did that all feel? Did I like those movements? Was there one that maybe just didn't feel good? In which case, maybe perform seated or just change the exercise. As I said, if you don't like a lateral raise, maybe an arm curl instead. If it felt good, we're going to move in again. Remember, 0 out of 10, working 3, 4, good moderate challenge. We should feel a little bit of challenge, but not so much that we're completely breathless, no pain or discomfort, but a good muscular challenge. So, starting off again in about 30 seconds with my standing leg extension. So again, you still have about 20 seconds. There's no panic here. And if at any point you feel breathless and need to rest, take a breather, sit down. Don't worry about it. Come back to it later. There's no pressure here. Left hand holding the chair. Upper body is nice and tall. And let's begin. Right knee up. Extend the leg. And lightly tap down. So again, I want to keep a little bit of tension on this thigh. So I try not to rest on the ground for too long. Upper body stays straight. And I just go with a little bit of control here. So I don't want to rush and do too much at once. Knee up, extend. So again, knee up, extend. So just so you have a little bit of control, with the movement. And I'm trying to feel my leg, my thigh in particular here. Remember, the same part, same muscle as we would work in a squat or sit to stand. And a really good alternative, if that's a movement maybe, as I said, that causes a couple of pains or irritation. So we just keep going. If you feel that standing leg doing a lot of work here as well, you're not wrong. It is. It's working hard to keeping us strong and balanced in this position. So get one more rep and back down. Okay, rest, recover, catch your breath, drink of water. We've about 20 seconds left there. And now we'll begin setting up on the opposite side. Right hand holding onto my chair. Upper body is nice and tall. And let's begin. Left knee up, straighten the leg out and back down. Knee up, straighten out. And we'll continue. Should say I like to kind of exhale as I extend the leg. Inhale, refuel as I come back down. I know my leg might go a little bit out of shot, but just knee up, extend. Again, don't try and rush it all at once. Kind of set a little bit of separation, knee up, extend. Not resting for too long on the floor. Just want to return straight back up and extend. Upper body staying nice and tall. We continue on. Doing really good work here. Again, as it gets a little bit harder, I mightn't talk as much. I'm just focusing on the movement, working hard. I can still get words out, but there is challenge. You can hear that in the voice. Going to hear that clock now. Just making sure I haven't run past. And rest. Okay, I ran a couple of seconds over. Apologies on that one. Shake it out. It's going to pause the clock, 5 extra seconds there to shake the legs out. And we're going to sit down to our chair next and into our seated lateral raise. Okay, so again, I sit down into my chair, nice and tall, weights by my side, raise out, back down. So the weights no higher than shoulder level. If you can't quite achieve that shoulder level position, that's fine. Work with your shoulder on this one. And if you find this difficult, but you're okay with it, maybe you just want to do one arm at a time. And you'll just have a little bit more control with the movement that way. As I said, if you just don't like this movement, it's not good for the shoulder, for you, I would just go for a regular arm curl here. Breathing, exhale on the way up. Inhale, refuel on the way down. Should be a little bit of control of the weight, just so we don't swing the arms. I can get a little pause at the top, slowly lower the weights down. Raise out and pause, slowly lower back down. We'll just continue on. And rest, okay? So I'm just going to take that charger. Okay, so next movement. Weighted march. Keep and hold of your 2 weights. Might move my chair out of the way. And let's begin now in a couple of seconds. Holding the 2 weights, not in by my sides. Hold them out from the hips. And let's begin. Lifting the right knee up, left knee up, one at a time. Again, I'd look for a good, strong lift of the knee as opposed to going too fast. I want to make sure I feel strong and balanced in this position. So I'm not going to go too fast. If I felt in any way unbalanced, I would drop one weight, hold on to the side of my chair, or perform it in a seated position. Whatever works best for you. Again, I'm working that hip as I drive the knee up, and a little bit of strength and endurance through my arm and shoulder here, bearing those 2 weights. Trying not to physically rest them by my sides. An inch or 2 out from my hip. We continue on. About 10 seconds here. Just lifting the knees up. Giving myself a good challenge. 2. And rest, okay? So again, we have rest on the clock. We'll use it up, and then we'll shortly set up into our chest movements. Again, rest, recover. If you felt very breathless at any point, as we would always say in their COPD class, rest, recover, take a seat, catch your breath. Don't force yourself through if you felt breathless, okay? Palms of the hands faced up, grasping the waist. Merge them together. They're physically connected, and I create that V shape. So I'm not tight, rigid. Open it out, V shape. Push from chest, slowly back in. Remember, there's a straight line out from my chest, slowly back in. Exhale as I press. Inhale, refuel as I return. I'm going to keep the weights maybe an inch or two from the chest. I don't want to think about rolling back. I just think nice, smooth press out in front. Again, just make sure we don't lurch those weights out. We don't want to just thrust the weight out really quick. Go with a nice, smooth press. If you feel maybe a little bit wobbly on this one, sit down to your chair and give yourself a little bit of support, or maybe even just pressing one weight out from your chest. And down. So rest the weights, rest, recover. Again, we have one more round, recovery in between. So I could rest back at a chair, just take a little pressure off the lungs here. If you prefer to sit down, just sit down. Whatever strategy works best for you. And drink of water if you want there. And I'll just check in with everything there. That's okay, Bernie. Great stuff. And Anne, good to have you with us. So, again, there's no hurry. Take your time. Rest, recover. Remember on that scale of 0 to 10, working 3 to 4. If I was in front of you at home now, I would want you to say maybe 3, 4. But a good challenge. You feel yourself active. You feel you're working, but no pain, no discomfort. And if you felt you were really gulping for air, really struggling a bit, just slow it back down, okay? So let's go again. One final round. Again, any movement doesn't feel good, leave the exercise out and just change it. So last round. And we're doing great stuff here, really good. So one last round if we're feeling good here. Left hand, hold on to your chair. Upper body is nice and tall, nice and straight. And we'll begin in a couple of seconds. We're not going to jump ahead of the clock. So in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Knee up, extend the leg, and back down. Knee up, extend the leg. Again, I try not to rest the foot for very long. I just lightly tap the toes down and back up. So the knee lifts, leg straightens out. Again, just be mindful. Don't need to go excessively high with that knee. If you felt that your body is changing shape, that you're bending to achieve this position, not quite as high with the knee in that case. Just lift as high as is comfortable and then extend the leg out. So I'm really working that thigh here, my right leg. And that standing left leg is keeping me strong and balanced. So you might feel around the hip on that left side as well. Keep it strong, keep it controlled, not letting this turn into a fast swing. Separate always, knee, then extend. Just going to finish nice and strong, doing really well. And back down, and rest. Again, I like to just kind of a little jig on the spot, shake the legs out. I'm sure we can dance better than me. Wouldn't be hard. So, again, we have rest on the clock, so just use it. Rest, recover. Air in, air out. And now we will set up. Right hand, holding on to the chair. Upper body is strong. Left knee, extend. Back down. Left knee up, extend the leg. Again, my toes just lightly tap off the floor and then straight back up. As I raise the knee up, extend the leg then. Separate the two. Knee up, extend the leg. Keeping it strong and controlled. Mindful that the hips are kind of level, roughly level. There might be a slight difference, but just make sure you're not going excessively to one side. Try and keep it all nice and strong. And again, as we get tired, just avoid swinging the leg kind of aimlessly here. Knee up, straighten the leg out. Feeling lots of tension and work in my thigh here. Breathing all the time. Last couple of seconds. And down. Brilliant work. Seated lateral raise. And again, I'm just choosing to do this one seated today, just to really put some work on the shoulders, making sure nothing else takes over. Just another option of how we can do a lateral raise. So, nice and tall. See, my chest is out. Lengthen this position so I'm not rigid or kind of hunched over. Nice and tall. Weights by my side. Lift out. Again, I go to a position no higher than shoulder level. And I'm very consciously trying to control the weight. So I don't want to swing the weights up. I think of a very controlled raise, pause, slowly lower down. Just so we're not swinging, rushing through. If you feel you're losing a little bit of power here, I would drop it back to one arm at a time. Just alternate right, left. And again, if it's a movement you don't like, arm curl, just a regular arm curl. Exhale as I raise up. Inhale as I lower. I'm going to move in, last couple of reps. We'll get one more. And rest. So continuing to hold the two weights. Here are final two movements. Whether it's the first exercise or the last exercise, I always say the same procedure. If you felt very breathless, pause, catch your breath, only return when you feel ready. So don't push through just because we're near the end. If you feel breathless, take the time to rest and recover here. Weights by my sides, right knee up, left knee up. Again, I'm not holding the weights by my side. They're just out an inch or two from the hips. A little bit of endurance through those shoulders in particular. And we're flexing that hip. So the hip is active as I lift my knees up. Breathing all the time, in through the nose, back out the mouth. Again, I'm not looking to go excessively fast here, but I do get a good purposeful lift of the knee. Right, left. If I feel unbalanced, I drop a weight, hold on to the chair, or exactly the same movement in a seated position. You're doing great stuff here. And it's just about doing whatever you can. If you need to change, adapt any exercise, it's absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be exactly as I do it. Rest. Moving into the final exercise for our chest, seated or standing. And again, from the kingdom. Great to have you with us, Geraldine. Great to have you with us from the kingdom. So, grasping the weights, the palms of my hands faced up, grasping the weight. Chest level, merge the weights together. Again, not tight and rigid. Turn it into that V shape. So the elbows open out a bit. Push from chest. Exhale, pressing away. I keep the two weights physically together. And that V shape is just a nice, comfortable, strong position to press from my chest. Again, my body should be strong. So if you notice you arch at all here, sit to the chair to do this one. Never lurching the weight. So there's no kind of fast, furious swing here. It's a nice, smooth press. Slowly back in. So I'm working that chest. Strong movement, but we're performing it well. We're keeping it controlled. We're controlling the weight. Nice and smooth. Last reps. One more. And rest down. So we'll lower the weights. And that's us for today with our circuits finished. So again, rest, recover. As I always say, maybe you like to just rest on the back of the chair. Take some pressure off the lungs here. Or we can sit down into the chair. if we're ready to move into our cool down. But don't rush in here. Take your time, rest, recover, catch your breath. Never want to rush anything. So we're going to move into our cool down. We worked very hard there, absolutely brilliant work, aerobic, and I think just building up endurance in the lungs, making things, for example, maybe doing things around the house, going down to the shop, being able to go for a walk in the park without becoming breathless. That's what we're trying to achieve with this work, with a particular focus on COPD. So brilliant work there. Now, what we're going to do is cool down, and we'll have a little bit of breathing again. So very simple to begin. Straighten your right leg out. Point the toes forward away from yourself. We're just going to hold that position. If you remember, we did our heel raises and our toe raises. So we're stretching, relaxing the muscle after that. Nice long hold. Keep the leg as it is. And then we'll go for the opposite. Pull the toes in towards your body and hold the position. My leg shakes a little bit as I stretch out that calf. And hold. Back down. Left leg up. Point the toes forward away from yourself so you can lengthen out that front position. Toes pointed away. Nice long hold. And then you're going to go for the opposite motion. Pulling the toes in towards your body. Again, there's a little stretch of my calf. Maybe a little bit of a shake of the leg. Nothing to worry about there. Just going to hold that position. And back down. Excellent stuff. I'm just going to move this one away. Sitting nice and comfortable back into the chair. Lift your right knee up. Just going to hold on to the knee and just gently raise up towards chest. So think of bringing the knee up, not bending down on this one. Again, I can get a nice feeling lower back, glute. Might feel the hip a little bit here. Just going to hold position. Nice long hold again. And then relax down. The opposite side, my left knee up. And if we can hold on to that knee and then gently raise up. Now, we'll often see in the class, this is difficult sometimes. So I always say as high as comfortable, not pulling so far that you're shaking to hold this position. Should feel comfortable. And then back down. Now, I just want to open out that chest, expand. So arms by my side, pull back, open out that chest. Nice open position. I'm going to hold for a couple of seconds here. And relax back in. Just return hands down. Same again. Let's open, expand out that chest. Arms by my side. Palms face forward. Pull back, opening out my chest. Nice long hold here. And back down. Excellent stuff. Okay. What we'll do next, a little bit on the upper back. If I turn side on, it'll be best. Very simple. Bring your fingers together or put one hand on top of the other. Straighten out in front. Straighten the arms out. Just stretch out that back position, upper body here. Nice long hold. Again, you just straighten the arms out. You're just holding position. And then back in. And let's go once more. Straighten the arms out. Nice long hold of that position. And back down. Okay. Now, really important. I don't want to skip this. Now, I don't want to rush the time on it either. So a little bit of breathing to finish. I'm just going to go with belly breathing again. I find if I throw too much breathing techniques in one session, it just gets a bit confusing. I think it's good to just practice maybe one type or two even. So hands onto my belly. I'm going to go for my belly breathing again. People do always say to me they find this hard to connect with, and that's perfectly fine. It takes a little bit of practice. Two big tips I would give if you find this difficult. Number one, closing the eyes. And number two, maybe later in the day or first thing in the morning when you're lying in bed, being in that flat position can really help you connect to this style of breathing. So don't be too hard on yourself if you're not really feeling the belly breathing here. But the purpose is that you don't stay shallow in your chest and we get air all the way in. So I like to physically put my fingers there and try and feel the motion in my belly. Air in through your nose. Expand and fill. and then slowly release. So I'm almost lightly pressing all the air out. In through the nose again. Nice slow exhale. Again, air in through the nose. Expand, fill with air. Nice slow exhale. Again, air in through your nose. Nice slow exhale. One more time, in through the nose. Filling with air and a nice slow exhale. Excellent. Okay, so it is important. I try not to rush that. Even take a little bit longer on that one if you want and want to do another couple of breaths. Brilliant work, everyone. We pushed really hard there. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks for all the comments and feedback along the way. I'll check in with everyone shortly. But brilliant work, everyone. Great stuff. And great stuff on YouTube. I'm glad that stream worked again. We're on a roll. Fingers crossed it keeps working well. Good work, Mary.